Hello everybody, it is Fufu here. Today we have GBA Week 4 match against the Denver Bronzongs, led by Roger Rabbit. Obviously, as always, his link will be in the description. He's got a really interesting draft. Lots of fast mons, two of the fastest things in the game, which is Mega Aerodactyl and Deoxys Speed, as well as Weavile and lots of base 100s. And then he's got some bulk in there as well. So it was a really interesting team to try and build against. I know that Roger quite likes hyper offense teams, but maybe he's going to bring some balance. I wasn't really sure. I definitely wanted to bring Pinsir though. His team, as most teams are pretty vulnerable to Pinsir. Pinsir is such a powerhouse. It is a really scary threat, and I did want to bring Pinsir. I also wanted to bring Volt Turn. I felt that would be really good against his team, especially if he wanted to go hyper offense. If I could try and keep initiative over him, that would be really useful. So I wanted to bring Infernape, but I went with a Scarf Infernape. Now I have tried to use this before, didn't go to the plan, but I definitely felt against Roger's team it was useful. It meant that I would be able to outspeed literally everything on his team, and when he's banking on his stuff outspeeding everything, I think that would be really good to try and stop and break his tactic down. The Volt part of the Volt turn was going to be Rotom-Heat. I definitely wanted to bring that because I knew that Roger had the Victini, and Victini would punch holes in my team, and I had something that could take those V-Creates and stop him from getting that massive hit off. So I've got that kind of... Those were the three that I definitely wanted to bring. I then wanted to bring Skarm for the default for my Pinsir. I wanted to be able to switch in Pinsir freely, especially with the Volt turn, because I could gain a lot of momentum if I managed to keep those rocks off the field. So I wanted to bring Skarm. Skarm would also have the rocks of my own, and then Brave Bird and Roost. It was potentially setup fodder, but I had things to mitigate for setup mons. I brought Sylveon because I wanted something to take the special hit. Sylveon, this is still a mixed defensive Sylveon because Roger has predominantly physical attackers and not really special attackers. So I brought Sylveon just to take on the few special attackers he might bring, but also had physical investment in case he didn't really bring any. I could still be useful. And then finally, a mon that I have not used yet in this format, and I was very excited to try and get to use, which is Alakazam. I feel like Alakazam, it can only work against certain teams. If the opponent has lots of priority, it's not really going to work too well because they can pop your slash and then come in and revenge. So you need to be careful with Alakazam, but because of its speed, which will outspeed a lot of Roger's speedy mons, because it's that fast and it's really good, I felt like this is the kind of time I would want to bring it. And also, he's got loads of setup mons. He's got Gyarados back in the wings. He's got other stuff as well. So I wanted to bring the Sash user just so that I could try and stop those setup mons if they do get set up without me wanting them to. So I thought Zam would be a good thing to bring. That is the team. Let's get looking at Roger's team. He brought a lot of the things that I thought he might. Weavile and Deoxys are nice checks to my Mega-Pinsir because they both outspeed. Weavile has the Ice Shard to do lots of damage, and the Deoxys has potential to carry lots of things that can hit it. I was slightly surprised he didn't bring the Gyarados. I'm not sure if that's because he just saw the Skarm or was aware that I might bring electric type moves, or I'm not really sure. And he brought the Victini, which I thought would be coming out, and I'm very glad that I brought the Rotom for. And also Milotic. Milotic is a really good wall, and it's hard to break down, but I brought the Pinsir, and I definitely thought the Pinsir could handle it. I did some calcs beforehand, even max physical defense. I can 2-hit KO with Pinsir. So let's get into this. So I decided to lead off with my Scarf Infernape because I match up well against his team. If he wants to lead off with Deoxys, I can get a nice U-turn hit off. And we can see what Roger wants to lead with, so I shouldn't lose too much momentum here. So I go into the Infernape, and Roger leads out with Lord, although I won't call them by their nicknames because they are actually all called Lord. And I decide to hard switch out. Now this is bluffing that I'm not Scarfed, and that I'm thinking that he might be Scarfed. I'm not exactly sure what he is. He's going for the U-turn here, which does do a lot of damage to my little oven, but it is a critical hit. But it means that Roger's getting priority, and also I'm hoping that I kind of pulled off a little fool there, that I might not be Scarfed. By the way, yeah, I'm recording this on my Aorus just because it was played on X and Y because we have to play it on X and Y, but it's so much prettier on Aorus. Anyways, he brings in Milotic. I am slightly scared that this might be an offensive Milotic. Offensive Milotic would be pretty good against my team, just because I don't really prepare for it as much. But that's why I made a hard switch out into Sylveon, not wanting to see if he had speed crept me at all or whatever on my Rotom. So I wanted to hard switch out, not wanting to Volt Switch. I do get burned, slightly unfortunate, I don't have the heal bell, but my Sylveon pretty much can still wall this thing, and that's all I really need it for, is for the Milotic. So right now I'm going to predict his switch out, because Milotic can't do much to Sylveon, and he probably doesn't want to get status or whatever. So I'm going to Baton Pass out as he brings in the Celebi. That's fine with me. I can go into my Infernape, be confident that I have the speed because I am Scarf, and just go straight for the U-turn again. So that got me a little bit of momentum. This is gaining me the momentum that I lost when I had to switch out with my Infernape first turn. So I'm just going to U-turn here. He brings in the Milotic, and Milotic is a bit of a problem right here. I'm going to go into my Pinsir because I know that I can 2-hit KO from there for sure. I can 2-hit KO if he's lefties from full, I do believe. So I'm just going to go into my Rock Smash, the Pinsir, and go for a Frustration. And we can see how much damage this does. Looking at the U-turn damage, I wasn't exactly sure what kind of a set he would be, so just go for the Frustration. And we can see how much damage that does. It doesn't do that much at all. He turns out to have the Citrus Berry, which heals him nicely back up. That was a good play, because it means he can definitely get a hit off on my Pinsir and potentially can survive another one because of the Citrus Berry. So that was a really interesting tactic from Roger. He was obviously very scared of the Pinsir, and the only way he could guarantee his survival would be with the Citrus Berry. I do take the Ice Beam though, tank it, because Pinsir does have a little bit of nice bulk. And I go into my Sylveon to eat the Ice Beam up. Now I know that my Hyper Voices should be doing a little nice chunk to the Milotic, which is good, but I am going to throw up a Wish right now, Wish right now, Wish right now, and see where we go from there. I just want to keep this momentum. That's what I wanted against Roger, because I know that he's a very offensive player. I didn't want to give him any momentum. So I've got the Wish up, and now I can switch into something if I so feel like it. I doubt that Celebi can kill me with anything right now. Maybe a Specs Leaf Storm would have done it, but even then, yeah, probably. I'm not sure, because I do have special defense investment, so I'm not sure. He goes for the Zen Headbutt anyways, does quite a lot of damage. I'm able to get a Hyper Voice off, which does good damage to the Celebi. It means that a Quick Attack will definitely take it out from my Pinsir. And I'm nicely healed up now. I want to switch out. Seeing that he's physical, it means that he can't touch Skarm at all. I don't think it gets anything at all, unless he's running Hidden Power Fire, but then he'd have to have some weird investment with that, and I still wouldn't do too much to Skarm. So Skarm is a very safe switch right now, and then I can get up my Rocks, which are really, really crucial against the team, just to wear the Victini down a bit. I do actually have Shadow Ball on my Rotom, because I was scared that he might be a sub-variant of Victini, wanting to set up as I switch in my Rotom and then try and fire off some Psychics or something. But I did have the Shadow Ball just to make sure that he couldn't set up on my Rotom. So he's going to withdraw right now, as I can get my Rocks up. He goes into the Victini, big threat to my team. But I do still have a full health Rotom, so I can switch into that. I think I'm full health. Maybe not, no. I got a little bit of chip with the U-turn. So now, looking at my health, I wanted to make sure I saw how much a V-Create did, so that just for information, because I needed to know what kind of a set he was. And I'm on 134 at the moment. Takes me down to 67. So that's doing about 67 health. But I do have the leftovers, so there's pretty much no way that he can take me out right now. And I'm going to just go for a Pain Split, get all my health back, easily live another one, and go from there. He won't outspeed me as well after this one, so I felt like that was a good... And he freaking gets a crit, and now I have no switches to the Victini. Oh my god! No! I needed my Rotom. I would have gained so much momentum from that as well, because as soon as I got the Pain Split off, I can Volt Switch. He would be at -2 special defense, and he would probably want to switch out. I get so much momentum. Doesn't matter though, I can go into my Pinsir, I will be able to outspeed at this stage, and can just go straight for a Frustration. Roger makes an aggressive play, probably predicting my Swords Dance, going into his Weavile, and that was not a good play, because I do just take it out right there. That was one of his best checks to my Pinsir, and he loses it. He still has his Deoxys speed though, which is fine for him. It outspeeds. I cannot kill it from that range, no way. So I need to switch out. And yeah, so that was unfortunate with my Rotom, and I was a bit sad about that. But I managed to get rid of the Weavile. Huge threat to my team. Gone. Very pleased about that. He brings in his Deoxys Speed, goes for the Rock Slide. As I go into my Scarm because I feel like I can eat stuff up. He goes for the T-Bolt though. I did think he might have something for Scarm, wasn't exactly sure what. The T-Bolt just takes me out with another crit. Oh my god! I did calc that one though. If he was like max special with a positive nature and an expert belt, there was a small chance they would take me out from that range anyways, so I wasn't too upset about that one, and I can't complain too much. But both my walls being taken down to crits hurt a little bit. I was scared, to say the least. I was scared. I have to go into my Infernape right now and get the U-turn off, and then I can go into my. I have to go into my Sylveon. I have to sack my Sylveon because I couldn't get the Brave Bird damage on with my Skarmory. If I had managed to get a Brave Bird off, this thing would be dead, and I wouldn't have had to sack my Sylveon right now. But as I say, that could have just been min-max potentially if he was that plus special attack nature and whatever. He turns out to have the Meteor Mash from my Sylveon, which is cool. I think he was just trying to show it off there because other attacks would have killed as well. But he takes my Sylveon out. I go back into my Infernape, and right now you may think he makes a weird play staying in because this thing is really good. But at the same time, if he had gone into anything else on my U-turn, I would have been able to bring in Pinsir and probably got another kill. So it was a fair enough play, him just sacking his Deoxys Speed there. Now I'm going to go to Alakazam. Alakazam is in, and Alakazam is looking quite good in my opinion. He goes into the Celebi. Celebi, this is a Victini, blatantly Victini. So Victini will be able to live any one hit. I do carry the Shadow Ball just to be able to hit it, and that does really, really good damage. It turns out his Victini doesn't have speed. Not exactly sure what item it was, but I do have my Focus Sash, probably Banded. I'm not sure if it would have done more to the Rotom though. I haven't calced it. I probably should. But anyways, he turns out into the Celebi. Right now, I'm thinking, does the Celebi have Sucker Punch? I've seen that it's a Swords Dance set. It could have Sucker Punch. But you know what? I'm willing to risk it. I don't want to risk either of my other mons. They're far too important. So I'm just going to go straight for the Signal Beam and take out the Celebi. I did carry Signal Beam specifically for that because I didn't think that Shadow Ball would do the job. Celebi was much more likely to be especially defensive than a lot of other things on his team. So I decided to do that, and it does take out the Celebi. I'm not sure if it did have Sucker Punch, but I did have it in the back of my mind. And now I'm able to get a Psy Shock off on the Snorlax that will do really good damage. In my opinion, Snorlax is a really, really bulky mon, and it's nice to get that damage on. It means that at this stage, I'm doing pretty well. I can go into Rog Smash, the Pinsir, and I can go straight for a Frustration, which should definitely be able to do enough. But Roger makes a really nice play, sacking his Victini so that he can bring in his Milotic. Now this is where it's getting pretty hairy. Well, kind of pretty hairy. It means that he has the chance to take out my Pinsir right now. So he goes into the Milotic, and it can live a Frustration from there, as we've seen before. Now he can kill me with an Ice Beam, but I do still have my Infernape. But he goes for the Scold, and that does not kill. I survive on one, and he doesn't get the burn. Now, he made that play because I could well have switched into my Infernape, predicting the Ice Beam, thinking that, yeah, he went for the Scold, basically, mitigating for the Infernape switch. So, he takes me down, but doesn't kill me, and I'm able to take out the Milotic there, and also take out the Snorlax, and Pinsir freaking put in the work. That was a 2-0, and it now means that I'm 2-2 overall for win-losses, and Pinsir is apparently the mon with the second most amount of kills in the whole league. And I think that's pretty impressive. I'm very, very happy about this. Yeah, really proud of Mega-Pinsir, and really happy that this team worked. It did exactly what I needed it to do by keeping momentum. Even though I lost my walls, they functioned as they needed to as well. Skarmory got the rocks up. He didn't actually put his own rocks, so I didn't need to get rid of them. Acted as pivots so that I could get my threats in and do the work and just keep that pressure on Roger. So I was really, really pleased about that. If he hadn't have killed, if he had killed by Pinsir, I still had my Infernape in the back, and Infernape could definitely have taken the Milotic on, which was on like what 20% and what 35% Snorlax. I could definitely have taken that on because I am a fighting type. So that was a really good battle. I would be really interested to see Roger's side, and you should too. So please go and check out his channel, as I say in the description. Newcastle United, all of a sudden looking like contenders again, which I'm very happy to say. My differential is pretty shocking right now. It's still minus numbers because of my drubbings earlier on, but I've got the win-loss back on track, and that's what matters. That's really what matters. So if I keep winning, it doesn't matter that I've got smashed at the beginning, because I'm finding my feet, and Pinsir is here to wreck. So looking forward positively, and I think that next week will be a very interesting match, so stay tuned for that. I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.